Didn't see you there. Welcome to Kevin's Corner, episode 6. Last week, we found out that participants in our organ donation case study were subconsciously influenced by a behavioral principle called the default bias, which had massive ramifications for various countries' overall organ donation rates. During our discussion, an important question arose. Is it ethical to influence the subconscious drivers of people's behavior? As you can probably imagine, loads of insightful articles and research papers have been written on this very dilemma. The general consensus is that behavioral economics is no different to any of the other tools available to us to influence behavior. What other tools am I referring to? Tools like economic incentives, trade-offs, information campaigns, margin pricing. The list is lengthy, and there's Google if you want to take a look at some of those. What we must keep in mind is that the tools themselves are not inherently ethical or unethical. It comes down to whether the person using the tools intends to manipulate people or improve their lives in some way. Within the fields of public policy and health, for instance, it's quite simple to justify the use of behavioral economics to improve societal health, well-being, and economic stability. But when it comes to every other field out there, the fields that most of us experienced designers operate within, it's a bit less clear. Social media in particular has developed a pretty shady reputation over the years, using behavioral economics to manipulate customers to spend more time endlessly scrolling their apps for the sake of more ad revenue. Introducing ethical design standards in recent years has helped, but there's still a long way to go. So how do we use behavioral economics while remaining ethical? Here's my expert opinion. We must be extremely cognizant of our efforts to change customer behavior because sometimes our efforts will bring about negative unintended consequences. If, for whatever reason, these negative unintended consequences outweigh the element of positive change we're bringing about, our efforts are unethical. In other words, if we're doing more harm to the customer than good in any scenario, we need to stop what we're doing and go back to the drawing board. If you feel I haven't exactly given you a clear answer on whether behavioral economics is ethical or not, that's because there's loads of gray area, and we must continually remind ourselves of this important question within all of the work that we undertake. So now that we've covered the basics, next week we'll begin exploring a framework we can use to methodically design behavior change. Finally! See you next week.